Hey, you! Before you watch this, pause the video and subscribe to SemiPro right now.
What's going on YouTube? Ryan back again with another video, and we're back with another fan requested video. If you want us to make a video about your favorite team or player, just comment down below. Today, we're talking about the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are legitimate title contenders, and if you would have been told during the offseason that Toronto would have a chance to repeat, you probably wouldn't believe it. Nick Nurse is a mastermind of a coach, and has gotten the absolute best out of every single player that he's coached, and it starts with Pascal Siakam. Spicy P was last year's most improved player because of the astronomical jump he showed as a second option on a championship team. But now he's a contender for the award again with his rise from the second option to a bona fide star and borderline superstar. Siakam averaged 28, 8, and 4 as a power forward, but really more as a point forward. He can handle the ball if need be, he can run the offense, and he's one of the league's best defenders. Siakam is top 20 in minutes per game, points per game, defensive rating, and defensive win shares, as well as being named Player of the Week twice this season. Kyle Lowry is the clear second option, and while Siakam may be the best player, Lowry is the leader of the locker room. Kyle embodies Toronto, and the city loves him as well as the team. He's an effort guy that produces at the highest level and plays elite defense. Not to mention the production on offense, where Lowry scores 20 points and 8 assists per game. Lowry was 3rd in the NBA in minutes per game, 7th in assists per game, 19th in total win shares, and was a 2020 All-Star. Not too bad for a second option. Fred VanVleet is the starting shooting guard, and he is very effective. Earlier in VanVleet's career, there was speculation on his consistency, especially in the playoffs. But ever since the birth of his child during the 2019 postseason, VanVleet has been on a tear and has never stopped. This season he's averaged 18 and 7 and is a good defender in his own right. He isn't as great of a defender as some players on this team, but the Raptors play such spectacular team defense that it elevates the defensive play and statistics of everyone on the team. OG Anunoby might be the best defender of them all. He's the only starter not to be injured at one point in time this season, and Anunoby has the 3rd highest win shares on the team behind Siakam and Lowry. He isn't the offensive threat that the other guys are, but he definitely does the job. He's unselfish, and he contributes to the fluidity of the Raptors offense. Serge Ibaka is a part-time starting center, and he's continued to find new life in his career and reinvent his game in Toronto. In OKC, he was more of a rim-protecting athletic defensive presence. And now he's still a strong defender, but he can stretch the floor now too, tweaking his game to fit the modern NBA. The other starter is Marc Gasol. He struggled with injuries, but he's also reinvented his game the same way Ibaka did. Gasol is an even more capable floor spacer than Serge, shooting over 40% from deep. He isn't as much of a defensive threat as he once was, but he's still an effective defender. Norman Powell is the 6th man off the bench and has been an effective scorer. He averaged 16 points per game and is 15th in the NBA in effective field goal percentage. Powell had a real breakout season this year where he doubled his points per game. Patrick McCaw also gets playing time off the bench. Quite frankly, I don't think McCaw is very good. He has a negative 3.6 offensive box plus minus, and if you aren't familiar with that stat, just know it's bad. McCaw is a competent defender, and that's why he gets playing time, but he's undoubtedly a proven winner. He's won 3 championships in 3 years. Maybe he's a good luck charm, but he's definitely just lucky to be there. Terrence Davis is the other backup guard, and he has been a bright surprise his rookie season. He went undrafted and by all accounts has exceeded expectations. He was an integral part of the rotation and played 17 minutes per game and has stepped up in a big way when the Raptors suffered injuries, which happened a lot. He averaged 40% from 3 and averaged 8 points per game. Then there's Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who to me really just doesn't fit with this team, particularly because he doesn't stretch the floor. He shoots around 10% from 3. It only kind of works because Ibaka and Gasol can stretch the floor, so it leaves a little bit more space in the middle when Rondé drives to the basket, but for me, Rondé halts the ball movement on offense. And when you can't stretch the floor in today's NBA, you're going to be rendered obsolete. He also makes the Raptors worse when he's on the floor. He drops the team's average plus-minus by 2.5 points. Sorry, Rondé. No disrespect, I just don't like the fit. Someone who I love and the final member of this loaded rotation is Chris Boucher. Scaducks. He has some of the brightest flashes in the NBA, but he will also go completely dormant for weeks at a time. The sporadic play makes it hard for him to get consistent playing time, which in turn probably leads to some of his inconsistency. Despite Boucher only getting 13 minutes per game, he still averages a block per game and 6 points per game as well as 4 rebounds. But ultimately, he's used as a spark plug. The Raptors have a tremendous roster and tremendous depth. Most teams have at most 7 or 8 players that they can trust to be productive. The Raptors have 11. All of them could get into the playoff rotation, and all of them Nick Nurse can trust on the floor. This Raptors team, despite losing one of the best players in the NBA, has a chance to repeat once again.